Hello, good afternoon. It's 12:30. It's Michelle Carville, and I am here, delighted to be here at the Online Digital Academy for our lunchtime learning session. So I don't know how many of you are able to join me today. I can see some little eyes over there. So if you are joining, please do say hello or even post a comment. I can see comments now, and it's all happening in one space. So for anybody who doesn't know me, my name's Michelle Carville, and I am one half of the Online Digital Academy. I am a partner with the wonderful Sarah Kerrigan, and together we have created this Online Digital Academy group. We've created an Online Digital Academy training platform, and we've got our Online Digital Academy website, which is jam-packed full of digital resources. Howdy! Somebody's saying howdy. Hello, joining now. Nicole, hey, great to see you. Great to see you. Thank you. And Marie commented on the post, howdy. So a few of you are joining in. Brilliant, brilliant. So Nicole, I can see you're joining now. There's some more names coming in. So please do tell me who you are, where you're joining from. We've got lots of people outside the UK as well as in the UK. So day one of lockdown, hey? How are we feeling about that? Some exciting things happening in America, but we're not going to talk about that. And we're going to be talking about social media dashboards. Now, a couple of you have asked questions on here in the past. In the past, we've had quite a few people asking questions about social media dashboards. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is the dashboard, a platform that you can use so that you can centrally manage more than one social media account. So if you're an individual and you have a Twitter account and that's all you have, you can probably just get by managing the Twitter account on the native app or on your desktop via Twitter, just using Twitter, usually via the app. If you're just using Instagram, it might be that you want to just use that via the app, and that's fine. You're not scheduling things in advance, you're just interacting day to day. But for those of us, particularly in agency land, or for those of us that are managing social media on behalf of clients, whether you're a consultant, whether you're an agency, whether you've just got a number of social media channels yourself. You know, you might have a platform across every single channel. You might be on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of them. And rather than having to go and jump between each one of those platforms to individually post and individually schedule and to individually engage and to individually track conversations, a social media dashboard allows you to pull everything into one place so that you can operate. So hopefully that gets us all on the same place around social media dashboards. And social media dashboards have been around for a very long time, pretty much since social media began. I mean, I started using Hootsuite and a platform that many of you may remember called TweetDeck. Crikey, I think in about 2009, 2010, when they were just emerging. In fact, I've still got stickers that Hootsuite used to send me, and indeed a Hootsuite scarf and a Hootsuite owl that they sent to us because we were one of the first people in the UK to really be utilizing the Hootsuite platform. And of course, they were looking to grow advocacy and with their audiences. So that that was kind of the platform that we've been using. And to be fair, within Carvel Creative, we have stayed using the Hootsuite platform for all of these years. We are still using Hootsuite to this day, and it's evolved. So tell me, if you're using a social media platform or platforms, because we don't just use one, we use a number, please tell me in the comments what platforms that you are currently using to manage your social media, whether it's a social media dashboard, just tell me what you're using to help manage your social media. So just pop the comments in pop your comments, pop your answers in the comments, and I think I should be able to see them. There might be a bit of a delay, but yeah, just pop them in there and we'll see what some of you are using. If you're not using any, just type none. But if you're using Hootsuite, Content Cal, Social, Sprout Social, Sendable, any others that you might be using, Schedugram. I'm trying to think of all the different ones that we've been using over the years, because we've tried and tested a number. Because as a new boy comes in, a new kid on the block arrives, we tend to see, is there anything of merit here that we need to be using and changing up? And the interesting thing is that I say we've been using Hootsuite, but Hootsuite, like many of these channels, platforms, they do certain things really well, but maybe not other things really well. So where there are gaps, we have to try and fill those gaps. And what we've been doing is, so I can't see any comments coming through for any of you that are using platforms. So maybe you're not using platforms. If you are, tell me which platforms you're using. Just post them in the comments, and hopefully trying to see if I can see this live on the page at the same time. So I can see your comments coming through, but I don't think we can be that scientific. No, that's a different live. Okay, let's not get caught up on that. But if you tell me what you're using, I'll see them in the comments. So at Carville Creative, we manage social media for a number of clients, and we've been doing it for years and years and years. Like I say, since, I don't know, over a decade. And we have used a number of tools. So we've looked at different levels of Hootsuite, from the enterprise level to working with individual levels. Often, sometimes we have to work in our clients' accounts that they're using. So sometimes we don't have the choice of what platform to use because they are choosing those platforms, and we just have to utilize their platform. So sometimes we don't, sorry, I'm just opening that window, very hot in here. Sometimes we don't get to choose which platforms it is. But when we do get to choose our platforms, the platforms that we have been using traditionally have been Hootsuite, because Hootsuite, and let me tell you why we liked Hootsuite for many years. Hootsuite is good for scheduling. So you can basically go into the platform. You can say when it is that you want to, you can create your content for the different platforms, and then you can say when it is you want to post them across the different platforms. Now, what we try to, and what I advocate is, you don't want a kind of one-hit wonder, so that you're posting something and then everything goes out looking the same across every channel, because not every channel operates in the same way. And so you have to be able to tailor your social media activity accordingly, because on Twitter, you might be using a couple of hashtags. On Instagram, you might be using 30 hashtags. On Facebook, you may not be using any hashtags. You might use one, but generally you may not be using any hashtags. And so, various different variations are required for different channels, and also different types of content work better on different channels, and people use the channels for different things. Let's not forget, a very big important part is that it might be that on Twitter, where people go for news and updates, you might just be sharing something very different than maybe you're sharing into your communities on Instagram, let's say, or Facebook. And then you might be using your LinkedIn channel as much more of a kind of business development. So again, you might be doing something slightly different than community kind of focused, which may be happening on your Instagram and Facebook. So you want the flexibility so that you don't look like, oh, I've just posted this and it's the same tweet it's the same post that's gone out across Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, because they don't work across all channels. And also what that's showing is that you don't really know what you're doing with social media, because you're just literally pasting one and then just broadcasting it across the whole channels that you've got. So that's not smart. It's not a professional way of doing social, and it's not social media, full stop, because it's not serving the client where the audience is with the right content at the right time. It's just broadcasting. So yes, broadcasting is one thing, and scheduling your content, as some of you may have seen on the post I did earlier last week, was around scheduling is important. Scheduling can save a lot of time, and you can schedule your content in advance, but you can't schedule everything, because social media is about being social. And yes, there may be some campaigns. Yes, there may be some regular things that happen. Sarah and I could, in the ODA, schedule a lunchtime live. We're going live every Thursday at 12:30, and we could schedule that for the next 6 months. Yeah. And that's just one thing. That's just a notification, but it's not really social. It's just almost like a marker, isn't it? It's not really advising. It's just a kind of diary reminder. So things like that, yeah, sure, you can schedule those in advance, and that can make life easier. But you can't schedule things in advance about, for example, something topical like, what's happening in American politics right now. And if you were, that was to do with your business, you would be having to be very responsive. So, of course, you would be listening out on the social channels. And listening is a really important component. So if you're looking for you've got to think about, what am I doing? What is social media? How do you do social media management really, really well? And that isn't just all about scheduling. So often I think people get caught up when they're looking for a dashboard around can I schedule things in advance? Yes, you can schedule things in advance. Yes, you can schedule things in advance. But can you differentiate the content easily between each of the channels? And if you are scheduling things in advance, can you schedule the posts so that they go out at different times that meet the times that those audiences are traditionally on those different channels? Because it may vary in your audiences. So you want to be learning about that and being able to have that flexibility. And the other key thing of social, which is the critical thing in social, is, can I listen? Is this dashboard going to allow me to tune in and track what is going on with competitors, what is going on in the landscape, what is going on with the people I'm connected to, what is going on generally? Am I going to be able to learn? Can I track hashtags? Can I track conversations? Can I put Boolean kind of parameters around things so that I can search for only positive mentions of the people talking positively about the brand, people talking negatively about the brand, people, within a certain geography talking. So all of those things, you've got to figure out, what is it that I need to do? What is it that's important to me? And then with that profile, understand what the dashboard that you are looking for, what it does and what it doesn't do. And if it does 95% of what you need, that's probably good enough, because I'm yet to find something that does absolutely everything really well. And some of them, based on their heritage, do things better than others. So Hootsuite was always designed to be a social media dashboard whereby it enabled you to schedule things in advance to allow you to get people. It was designed for agencies to really allow agencies to get permission from other people. So there were lots of layers. If you're working for your client has to sign things off and approve things before they can go out, and that has to be done in a timely way, because social is topical and conversations are topical. Then of course you want the platform to be able to do that. So over the years, like I say, we've been using Hootsuite for 10 years. So we've been using Hootsuite largely to schedule our content in advance with our clients, and also to use it as a daily posting, what is going on today and going in. We've also used it for listening. Now, it wasn't really designed for social listening. It's probably not the best social listening tool out there. But what we would do, well, it's not the best social listening tool out there, I would say. But what we would do is we created hacks. So we would create lists in Twitter of people that we needed to be listening to. So let's say that was a list of all our competitors, and we would create a Twitter list, and then we would bring that list with all those competitors in through to our Hootsuite dashboard, because you can bring in lists, you can bring in keyword lists, you can do all of those things into one of your cards, and then in that stream we would just be able to watch what the competitors were saying. We would be able to watch, if we put a hashtag out there, progressive brand, we'd be able to see all the conversation that was going on around hashtag progressive brand. We'd be able to see everything that was going on around at Michelle Carville. I could pull in the name of our clients, the name of influencers, and I would be able to see what was going on in that space. So, and of course, every day when you're doing your social media management, that those streams would be on, and you'd be able to see what was going on. So that would help you to stay immersed with the landscape, understand what your customers were saying, understand, so that if you saw something there, you could very often curate something from those pieces, from those posts, retweet it, add your layer of conversation on top, whether or not you agreed with something, disagreed with something. Yeah, I think this is great. This aligns with a post we shared just a couple of weeks ago. Here's a link to that as well. So there were ways that you then use that listening to make your content even more relevant to your audience that you are talking to, because you are responding rather than just pushing out, broadcasting willy-nilly to the world. You are listening to the questions. You are listening to the conversation. You are listening to the mood. You are sensing, you are able to respond. So that is far more social, isn't it? If you think about a conversation, I know I'm doing all the talking here because this is the nature of doing a live, but normally in this conversation, I'd be pausing and I'd be listening to what you had to say. So, that is the way of a conversation, and that is the way of being social. Nobody likes somebody that just keeps talking at them the whole time. So be mindful of that when you're thinking about planning all your content in advance. And that's a whole separate podcast live, but even just scheduling everything in advance, that you aren't missing the key component of being able to talk. So Hootsuite allowed you to do that, but in this hacky way. And then what we found was with Hootsuite, the reporting wasn't great. We have to report to our clients, and we wanted cross-integrated platform metrics. So we could say, well, this is how your social is performing, and then break it down into each of the different channel categories, and then go into more granular detail about the content that was working and various bits and pieces. So we needed something a little bit better than what we were able to get out at that time at Hootsuite. To be fair, Hootsuite may have changed things, but we at this point had to bring in another tool, and that tool was Sprout Social. Now, some of you, and again, tell me if you're using any of these channels, any of these platforms. Some of you may be using Sprout Social as a publishing platform. It is a useful publishing platform. You can use it to publish content in just the same way. You can bring your channels in, you can set up your content. And I have done that a few times when we've had issues with clients, or when Hootsuite broke down once, and we had to kind of, we had to go and do those things. So we have used Sprout Social for publishing in an emergency, because for us, the user experience wasn't better than Hootsuite. So our preference was Hootsuite, but on Sprout Social, the reporting was so much better, and the insights and the analysis that we were able to get out was so much better. And Sprout Social also have another added on of social listening that, again, we tried, or I tried and tested, but it wasn't almost better than the hack we were doing on Hootsuite. So we just kept things where they were and played between these channels. So so there we were with kind of two channels, using a bit of Sprout Social for various bits and pieces, using Hootsuite for various bits and pieces, and then using other tools. So when Facebook, so of course Instagram came into the mix quite a long time ago, and Hootsuite took its time really getting to grips with how you could publish directly to Instagram, but eventually got there. But then, of course, it was difficult. It was never quite as real time, and you still had that published by Hootsuite, and didn't feel right on certain things. So we started to use Facebook's Creator Studio. Now, Creator Studio is fantastic because am I saying that right? Yeah, Creator Studio. So when you go into create, I didn't know whether it was when you go into the Creator Studio, you can see that you can add in your accounts, and you can add in you can pull up in your accounts, and it will look at your Facebook and it will look at your Instagram. Now, if you are largely only working with Facebook and Instagram, Creator Studio is very, very smart. It's a free tool, totally free tool. And can you spell that out, please? Or what is the website? Is this on Creator Studio, Anne-Marie? Yeah. So I'll put the link here. business.facebook.com/Creator Studio. It's a really smart platform that is owned, it's part of Facebook, and of course it allows you to create your posts, see your posts. There's lots of insights. You can add your videos to this, and you can switch between your Instagram. You can add your stories on here as well. So scheduling of Instagram stories became a challenge, and at one point there was a very niche tool that came out, which is now Schedugram, which is now Sked Social. So Sked Social is another tool that now does everything, but Sked Social was originally called Schedugram, and it was called Schedugram for obvious reasons. It was the only tool that really allowed you to schedule Instagram feed posts and Instagram story posts efficiently. I would say efficiently, because Hootsuite was saying it did it, but it was certainly not doing stories, and it was certainly not doing things as efficiently. And so Schedugram was one of those tools that we used initially, and of course then we were able to kill that as Creator Studio came along. So now we're using Hootsuite, Sprout Social, and Creator Studio, and for some of our clients, other tools, because remember, we have to use their tools to manage things as well. And so you're using a little bit of all sorts, and sometimes that's the way it is. And a number of these tools, if you're using them on small scale for only a few accounts, then it doesn't matter. You could use 5 or 6 tools, because if you're comfortable with what each one gives you and it's not costing you the earth, then that's absolutely, you may be very comfortable doing that. From our perspective, I'm always keen to try and see whether we could start to streamline some of this, because best practice, understanding the insights, it starts to become a little bit bitty if everybody's doing slightly different things. So and one of the things we had with the 2 particular clients is that we work with them as well as a number of other agencies, and we're having to share resources. And one of our other clients, we have to share resources with their kind of partners, franchise partners, who are in other parts of the world. And so they needed access to our content, not just the scheduling. They needed the content before we get to the scheduling piece. So I'm not saying you schedule all your content in advance, but we knew that there were certain, as part of our content strategy, we work in 3-month kind of planning periods, and for a number of that content, while some of that content will be very real time and very responsive, a part of that content that is planned in and signed off with the client can be scheduled in. The themes of those things can be, and that content can start to be created. So for some clients, we needed to create a content calendar that lots of eyes could see, so that they could either take that content, repurpose it, or just utilize it. And for that, we were then using Content Cal. So Content Cal app.com, I think it is. Again, I can put all these links. Now, Content Cal, yeah, app.contentcal.io. I will share that link to you again here. A really nice piece of kit, and really good, less automated on the far less automated on, we felt, on the scheduling and social media management side of things, but from a content perspective, absolutely brilliant from a content calendar perspective. So you can see that there's a clue in the name, isn't there? Content Cal. Content Cal probably started out, I think they were actually a social media management agency, and they built this tool when they started for that very reason, to be able to share the content calendars with their clients. And then they've evolved the kind of posting side of things. So it's almost now we've got to a point where you need the tool to have a content piece. You need the tool to be able to listen. You need the tool to be able to schedule and then manage and see. And you need the tool that will give you some fantastic insights and reporting in one place, cross-platform reporting broken down into individual analysis. So depending on your needs, you can take from those aspects what you need. For us, we were looking for a solution that kind of, rather than having 5 or 6 different tools, we were looking for one tool. So there is a fantastic tool called falcon.io. If you go to falcon.io, you will see it. It's a really fantastic tool. Now, Falcon, if I get my facts right, I believe started off much more as a listening dashboard, enterprise listening dashboard, a bit like a brand watch. You know, these guys are the big boys of social listening and are looking at sentiment analysis, not just across social media, but across the whole internet. You know, what is going on with everything out there going on around your brand, your this. And for large organizations, the Danones of this world, the Procter and Gambles of this world, with multiple brands, with multiple conversation and story and insights and feedback that is going on all the time, you can imagine the amount of data that needs to be collaborated, that needs to be interrogated so that they can learn and funnel it down to learn some practical insights. And these tools do those very well. And as I understand, I remember many years ago, I think Falcon.io, I'm not sure if it's changed its name, but was deemed as came up all the time on the social listening side of things with the bigger organizations doing that. But Falcon.io was moved again into the social dashboard side of things and has the full reporting, this, da, da, da. So I looked at that tool and I loved it. But, you know, from a price perspective, the enterprise for a smaller agency is ridiculous. You know, you're talking several thousands of pounds a month for what it is, even at the starting level. You know, I think was about £2,500 a month for things that you needed. So depending on what you're doing with your clients, you know, and your margins and how big your clients are and how many platforms and things you are looking after for them, you've really got to think about, you know, do I need that additional cost into, you know, into our margins? And the other platform that I was then kind of alerted to by one of our social media managers who'd been testing things out was a platform called Agora Pulse. So I'm going to type that in again, Agora Pulse, kind of as it sounds. And I hadn't come across Agora Pulse on anything. You know, it wasn't, I don't seem to remember it at itis.com, so I'll just put the link in there for you. And we have spent, you know, the last, I suppose, 4 or 5 weeks looking at what it is that we really need. You know, we conflabbed as a team and said, well, what is it we need now from this platform? What's becoming frustrating? What's becoming time consuming? How can we smart and tidy this up so that we're all on the same page and utilizing the same resources. And we've been testing Agora Pulse. We've had a few kind of webinars and tests and stress tested it and posed loads of questions back to the team at Agora Pulse, and it seems to do quite a lot, quite well, actually. It's not doing everything. The content calendar still isn't as great as content Cal, because that is really content Cal's strength. But Agora Pulse really, for me at the moment, from a cost, it seems to do everything that the Falcon.io product does, but at a much more affordable level. I think, you can have a single user from like £34.99 a month or something, and that may even be euros. So I'll just look at the pricing here. Actually, I've got them up here. So I'm not pitching, I'm not saying, everybody go, sorry, 79 a month is the starting point, which, is, for what it does, is pretty good. And, and then they've got a good package for agencies as well. And it's even extra large is, for very large organizations, is 239 a month. So, these are good, very reasonable for what you're able to do, is good. And it's got, it's for any of you running Facebook ads. Some of you may know that when you're running Facebook ads, there are challenges with often seeing the commentary and getting back to the commentary quickly, so that you can utilize that commentary and the comments as part of your community management. And with Agora Pulse, and with other channels, in fairness, but with Agora Pulse, you can, for some of the channels, you have to pay extra to pull that through. And this allows you to do that. So it's got its priority inbox. It's got an inbox assistant. So you've got all your alerts and everything coming into one place. So they're not all over the place. Every alert is coming into a central place. It's got unlimited listening searches. So this allows you to proactively listen, as we're doing in the hack way, to keywords, phrases, mentions, hashtags, and more. And the nice thing about this is it's pretty sophisticated in how you can break those down so that you are only listening for the practical things that you really want to be listening to. So it's not just the listening, it's quite smart listening. I was very impressed with the listening piece, because I'm all for the listening. It's such an important part. You have got the opportunity to assign things to different people in your team if that's relevant. It's got, it syncs with all the channels that you require. It's got a unified calendar. So again, you can see all of your activity in one place. Not quite as beautiful as Content Cal, but you do get to see everything in one place, like you can in, with your Hootsuite things as well. You have unlimited scheduled posts, unlimited queued posts, so you can put things into queues and time things as well, which is quite nice. You've got your normal assign and approve, but again, in some platforms you have to pay extra for that approval aspect. It's got bulk scheduling again as well. So if you've got a lot of content that is planned in already and you want to schedule that up in bulk because you've mapped it all out separately, and maybe you're getting it from the client and you need to upload it to your platform once it's all sanctioned, it's got this bulk scheduling opportunity. It's got UTM tracking, nice, smart. It's got this nice labeling of the content as well. So we always try and align our content in inspire, inspire, educate, convert, and entertain. So if those are the 4 labels, let's say, of the type of content that you are putting out there, you can start to see which content is really resonating, because you get your reports back on those labels. So you can say, this is an entertainment post, this is an inspiration post, this is a conversion post, this is an education post. And so, whatever your labels are, you can start to see what is working and get the reports back on those labels as well. The reporting is really nice. The reporting is done really well and it streamlines everything. There's even a Facebook ROI calculator in there so you can look at your spend, your this, there's Facebook competitor analysis, there's power reports, there's data, there's a kind of social CRM that adds with it. So, all in all, we're finding so far that Agora Pulse, for the price of it, is a very sophisticated offering that is covering our social listening, that is covering our calendars, that is covering the content piece, that is covering the scheduling, that is covering the ability to be able to community manage anything coming in from any of the Facebook or other advertising campaigns that are going on, and allowing us to see everything in one space. It's a relatively simple platform to use. I mean, it is quite sophisticated. So we have done, it's worth watching the videos and it's worth going through their webinars and it's worth getting to grips with it, because it's like anything, isn't it? To use and optimize the technology, you want to be able to understand its full capacity. They even have, as many of these platforms do now, they even have their own little academy training. So you can actually do a mini training course in Agora Pulse and come out with a certification that you are an Agora Pulse, accredited user. So it's worth, they've thought of all of those things. And the other thing I would say is that the support team is based in Ireland. And so they've been super responsive, and don't underplay that, because it's very difficult to get hold of people in Sprout Social, as I've found over the years. You can talk to their chat, but you'll come up and it's sometimes responsive, but I've had a lot of kind of gripes over the years with trying to speak to people at Sprout Social, as I have with Hootsuite. Now, again, we've been using these channels for a long, long time. And, I'm not day in, day out on these channels as many of my team are, who are actively using these channels all the time. I kind of oversee things, and I tend not to do that much using dashboards myself as much. Managing clients isn't what I'm necessarily doing with the platforms myself, but I can only speak from my experience and from the feedback I get from the team. So that's kind of where we've got to. I think there are, hopefully that's useful. There are a lot of applications out there. I see that, Nicole is using, where can I see the links to the website you mentioned? Thank you, which are more affordable. I've put that there, Anne-Marie. It should be posting on Facebook. It should be posting here in the comments. Hang on. I'm just going to post it into the group. And I'll post it now again. And just see. This is the one where we've got to, Anne-Marie, and the Creator Studio. Again, I think these have posted to, it's gone to everywhere I'm broadcasting, because on StreamYard, which is a great broadcasting tool, by the way, we are broadcasting live now to YouTube, the Facebook page, and this Facebook group, all in one go. So that's quite nice. So then these can all be saved. It takes time. This app, also StreamYard, will then put subtitles on everything that I'm just talking about as well. So when the video is replayed, not when I'm talking, but when the video is replayed, it automatically puts the subtitles on, which is pretty smart. So again, Anne-Marie, the Business Creator Studio, I'm just going to find that link for you here. There we go. There you go. Oh, look at that. I can bring it onto screen. Oh my God, this is fantastic. Look at that. Wow. So there it is, facebook.com, business.facebook.com/Creator Studio Home. That's that one. And then Agora Pulse. Oh, let me show that one. There you go. Oh, look at this. This is good. Or am I showing that on YouTube now? Oh God, let me see. Let me see if I can show it on this one. That was Content Cal. Anyway, I could have fun with that. I can have fun with that. That's great. So any more comments? I've got more new comments coming in here. Okay, thank you. Perfect. So what I'm finding, Anne-Marie and others, is that Agora Pulse is definitely worth having a look at. Definitely worth having a look at. and it is a very nice platform. And in my view, you're getting some pretty enterprise level, high-end enterprise level, sophisticated features, and it's a great price. So having looked at more of the higher enterprise packages over the years, and really quite recently the Falcon.io one, I'm struggling to see what Agora Pulse doesn't do. So, that's a big price differential. So I think that Agora, are becoming a force to be reckoned with. I think there's another one as well that Jag particularly likes, called, I can't remember the name of it, but I will get it from her. I haven't looked at that one, but for now, I'm really, really comfortable with Agora Pulse. I'm happy. The team are happy, and we are going to be able to stop using. We're going to be able to stop using Sprout Social. We're going to be able to stop using Content Cal. We're going to be able to stop using Hootsuite and just bring everything into Agora Pulse. Creative Fate Studio, is great really for scheduling. Instagram, I don't think anything yet beats Creator Studio for Instagram and Instagram stories. Unless maybe you're paying thousands of pounds a month for something that is directly integrating. But because of the API of Instagram, it's problematic for any dashboard to be integrating with it. And so Facebook's own platform, Creator Studio, is the one that we're all probably still using for Instagram, and particularly Instagram stories. So I hope that's been useful. It's very real world. It's very much what we're doing. It's very much what we have been doing. I'm not doing a scientific link through of all the features and benefits of all the social media dashboards, because there are now hundreds of the bloody things, and some of them are absolutely brilliant. I encourage you to explore, but I'm just telling you what we have been doing, what the vital things are that you need to think about, what the platforms can do for you, and let's not forget what social media is. Let's not forget the social bit and the conversation bit, and that is key to the listening piece. And if you can find a tool that really allows you to listen at a very granular level and to have all of that insight coming through, I think that's a real godsend. And Agora Pulse, I'm really, really impressed with the listening piece and the way you can break that down. It is smart, actually, really smart. So right now, the 5 stars from me is going to Agora Pulse. I think it is a little force to be reckoned with when it comes to social media dashboards. And I'm sure some of these big boys are quaking in their boots about quite how these guys are doing all of this good stuff at such a reasonable rate. So that's it. I'm going to leave it with you. If you have any more questions about the social media dashboards, give me a shout. If you found this useful, then let me know. And also, of course, let me know if there are any questions or anything like that, or any other topics that you want us to talk about coming up. Sarah and I have got a whole list of topics coming up for the next few weeks. And so let us know if there's anything you're struggling with, if there's anything that's come to fore because of lockdown and you're having to figure your way around things differently. Just let us know and we'll be sure to support you as much as we can. So that's it, my lovely ODAers. For now, enjoy the rest of your lunchtime, and I look forward to speaking to you really, really soon. Over and out. Keep those questions coming, and great to see you here on the chat. Thanks for joining us. And if anybody is clicking the replay, just tag Sarah or I in on any of the questions and we'll be sure to jump back in. Okay, bye for now.